First thing we're going to break down today is the killing of Brian Malinowski, 53, former executive director of the Bill and Hillary Clinton International Airport. So this thing kind of got blown up from a raid, and you see his picture on the screen there. You see ATF, Bill and Hillary, and Mr. Malinowski. This guy was actually selling weapons. Weird kind of deal. It appears that he was a collector and a seller, and he was going to gun shows, selling weapons, trading weapons. Yes, illegally. He was committing a federal crime. So, got a copy of the search warrant. We'll put it on the screen there, and there will be a link to the search warrant, the entire document. But we'll just throw the cover sheet up there so you can see the warrant. The entire warrant is heavily redacted. There's a lot of things you can't see in it. It does. Some of the redaction you can tell protects source and methods because we used several undercover agents for this operation. They used some unwitting agents, and also they used civilian witnesses. But going back to the raid. So 6 o'clock in the morning, ATF goes to this man's home, a 425,000 square foot house. 6 o'clock in the morning to the man's home. They know he's a gun guy. They know there's weapons in the house. But this is a director of an airport. This is an executive that's never had a run into the law. He's never broken any law other than paperwork crimes with guns. And it does appear that, he did break the law. But this is not a guy running out selling to cartel members. He's not sending guns overseas. He's not doing anything crazy. He's a gun guy trying to sell guns and make a little money. So ATF goes to his house 6 o'clock in the morning to execute a search warrant and an arrest warrant. Now think about this. What are you doing at 6 o'clock in the morning? Here at the bunker, we're up about 4 o'clock, 4:30, feeding dogs, doing what we got to do. So we'd be up and ready. This guy's a 9 to 5er at an airport, at management at the airport. So who knows if he's even showing up by 9 o'clock. But 6 o'clock in the morning, ATF does the raid. And this is not an indictment on law enforcement. We support the agents, worked with many ATF agents, good guys, want to do the right thing, not happy about some of their agency rules, regulations, and how they have to do business. But 6 o'clock in the morning at a man's home that has guns, and did they do a cop knock? Was this one of those deals where they go to the door, sneak up, they got all their stuff. They're wearing identifiable jackets, so it should be known that they're the police, and that meets the requirement. But, they didn't go up to the door and I'm sure knock like, the, hello, law enforcement, need to talk to you. This was a cop knock. They banged on the door very loudly. Now think about it. If you're in your bed, alarm's probably set for 7:30. They bang on that door very loudly at 6 o'clock in the morning. That happens here. Not only myself, but my wife and probably the kids are going after some firearms, and we're going to set up a defensive perimeter. And then we'll check and investigate. But 28 seconds. They waited 28 seconds. So after 28 seconds, they're breaking the door down. If you're in your home, in the bathroom, you hear this loud banging on the door, or you're in your bed, you hear the loud banging on the door, you're probably going to respond with a firearm. Is 28 seconds enough time to get there, or should they wait a little longer? As a former TAC team, SWAT instructor, team leader, done raids, civilian raids, military raids, we plan these raids down to the last detail. I mean, it's tremendous the amount of research, planning, intelligence that goes into this, but we base our things on a few key safety issues. One, safety of the operators. Everybody comes home, we win. We base our raids on that. We base our raids on safety of the suspect because we don't want the lawsuits, we don't want the liability, we don't want to violate the Constitution. We try to do the right thing, but mission accomplishment matters depending on the type of individual you're going after. If you're going after a hardened criminal, you're going after a cartel member, you're going after a terrorist, things are a little different. But in this case, you're going after an executive of an airport, of a known airport, a 9 to 5 suit wearing guy. So You'll see the strict doctrinal guidance. We're going to post it here on the screen for you. There is a manual. There are several manuals. And if you go to this website, it kind of breaks everything down. But this manual, this RAIDS manual, is one of many. But it is basically a lessons learned on the civilian side. We do the same thing on the military side, where we compose best practices and lessons learned from hundreds, thousands of raids. And if you go through this, you got to wonder, number one, why did they go to the house? Why did they go to the stronghold where weapons are? They could have done a lot different things. If it were me and I was the raid planner, knowing this guy's activities are, pretty well known. They've got good intel on the guy. He leaves the house in the morning. He goes to the airport. He checks in. He says hi, gets a cup of coffee, goes to his office. What better place to take him off from there? You got TSA restricted areas where there are no weapons. You don't want to take him down in a car because that could be, chase scenario, gunfight in the street. You could have had a couple plainclothes dudes go to his office, hang out, wait till he gets there, tell his secretary, hey, we need to talk to the boss, flash a badge. No harm, no foul. This guy's taken off without a shot fired, without an argument. He would be dumbfounded, wouldn't be able to understand it. He was like, oh, yeah, I'll definitely comply. Yeah, this is 99 times or 99% of the time, this is the case where you catch the guy just a little bit off guard, but you don't catch him in the stronghold unless it's the absolute last resort. Now, with this, an ATF agent was shot. So we know he did return fire, or he opened fire on agents. You shoot at a cop, there's going to be a response. In this case, from what I've gotten so far, mainstream media, like I said, is not covering it. I tried to do a little investigation. He received 2 wounds, both to the head. He didn't die immediately. He died in the hospital hours later. But, we used to use some key phrases, body armor being one, or there was another one. I'm not going to reveal that one. But if you heard the one body armor, you're taking headshots. This guy is probably standing in his underwear or just getting dressed. He's not wearing body armor. He goes to the door, and we're all trained to shoot center mass, stop the threat. Your first and second shot rarely should be to the head, but the court has already ruled shooting's justified, no harm, no foul. So you think about this, the Fourth Amendment revolves around reasonableness, the reasonableness standard. Is it reasonable that we go to the man's house at 6 o'clock in the morning and bang on the door really loud? Or is it reasonable to think that we could take him off somewhere else where there's no weapons around? He doesn't have access. He's already been through security. Even if he is allowed to have a weapon in the airport, there are plenty of ways, ruses. They could have called him out to a maintenance shop. Anything. I mean, the scenarios are limitless. You're only limited to your imagination. But someone like this, you don't go to the stronghold where he has weapons, he's going to be there. You bang on the door really loud. You give him 28 seconds. I mean, it just smells like a Waco or a Ruby Ridge. The ATF has a history, and like I said, it's not the agents. It's the planners and it's the DOJ forcing this type of activity. They're dictating to the agents what they're going to do, and it's making the agents unsafe, it's making the suspect unsafe, and putting the population at large. ATF is just one of those agencies that we could probably just do away with.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.